Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Vakil. Here are the headlines. Indian markets take the cue from strong upmove in global equities to start the expiry session with healthy gains, and the Nifty reclaims 10,800 in early trade. Volatility declines. Crude-dependent stocks come in focus again after crude prices gains nearly 8% after touching an 18-month low. Open interest surges in power grid and IGL futures in the expiry session of the December series. And former RBI Governor Bimal Jalan will head a 6-member panel to set up the review of the central bank's economic capital framework. The government bars deep discounting, exclusive tie-ups and private labels for e-commerce companies. New rules come into effect from February 1st.
Okay, let's see what the markets are doing on expiry day. We've come off the highs of the day. Nevertheless, it's a strong start, and from yesterday's low, we're up almost 250 points. So that's a strong traction that we've seen as far as our markets are concerned. Let's take a look at the rollovers. Nifty rollovers on the higher side this time around, close to 61% Nifty rollovers. As far as the Bank Nifty rollovers are concerned, let's pull that up. That's close to 43%. So both of them trading on the positive side. The Bank Nifty has given up most of the gains. It's almost trading flat at this point of time, coming in close again to the 27,000 mark in trade. Where are positions being taken at this point of time? Let's pull that up. As far as this series is concerned, it seems that it will be between the 10,008. Put writers are active from 10,700 and 10,800 level, and call writers are writing in today at the 10,800 to 11,000 level. So that's something that's happening in trade today. Let's see what's happening as far as the total open interest build-up is concerned, and it seems that it will pretty much happen between the 10,700 and 10,800 mark in trade. So that's the traction that we're seeing at this point of time on the Nifty itself. So it's expiry day, expect it to be a little volatile in trade. As far as the next series is concerned, the range is 10,500 to 11,000. So that's the broad range that we're seeing. Majority of the positions in and around the 10,800 mark in trade. But Agam, on stock specific side, what are you spotting?
Sure. So that's what I'm going to take a look at all the stocks which is looking at surge in open interest, specifically with respect to January, because this is expiry, and there is a surge in something like an ONGC. There's some fresh longs coming through. Now I reckon there will be some amount of unwinding because of the fact that we are seeing so much accumulation coming through. Ajanta Pharma, the underlying hasn't moved too much, but there is again 24% added there. IndusInd Bank is the other one which is buzzing in trade, advancing by a little over 1%. But for Power Grid and Equitas holdings, there isn't too much change in when it comes to your OI increase. Of course, when it comes to decline in open interest, naturally there will be higher numbers considering there is a rollover. So, we won't really delve in too much into it, but we're watching out for some of these names which are seeing a surge in OI, even as we see the December series expire later on in the day, and we'll be keeping an eye on something like an ONGC. But on that note, we'll get into experts. But before we do that, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022-450-4141, or of course write to us on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube with the AskBQ hashtag.
Okay, let's welcome our F&O experts for the day. Ashish Chaturmohta of Sanctum Wealth is here with us in the studio, and Aditya Agarwal of Way to Wealth also joins in. Good morning to both of our guests. I'll start with you, Ashish. Good morning. 250 points up from yesterday's low. It was basically surprising move that came in. What should one do right now?
Good morning, Darshan. So I think, we have seen a very sharp recovery from lower levels, and I think the way we have crossed the 200-day moving average, we are going to, take support around this 10,700, at least in a shorter term time frame. As you rightly mentioned, there is a huge call writing at around 11,000 strike price, so that will be a key, short term or medium term resistance for the market. But definitely the momentum is positive. We have opened gap up, so I think there's some profit booking which is going on initially in the first half of the trade, but I think going forward we can expect good recovery in the later half, and I think positionally I think 10,950 to 11,000 is something we are expecting at an index level, but in a very immediate short term I think 10,850 860 would be my short term target for next for a day or two in Nifty.
Okay, before we add, do you have any strategy for something if someone wants to play today's expiry, any option that looks attractive? Are you suggesting anything only for today's expiry? It could be the Nifty, the bank Nifty.
So as per our view, I think we are expecting a good recovery from lower levels. So I think one can initiate a long in 10,800 strike price call, which is slightly out of the money, available at around 25-27 rupee kind of premium. This could be initiated as a buy. On downside, keep 14 as a trading stop loss because it's a expiry day call. So otherwise, if you don't keep a stop loss, then this entire premium can go to zero. So I think keep 14 as a trading stop loss. On upside, 60-65 is a short-term target. Is a target we are expecting on this 10,800 strike call in today's trading session.
Okay. All right. Aditya, good morning to you as well. How are you seeing trade on the indices, and how would you play options or for that matter futures here?
Morning. Well, if we see Nifty, then yes, yesterday we have seen a sharp recovery, but I don't think so that this pullback will continue for long. On higher side, 10,800 to 850, this 50 points band will act as a strong resistance zone, and we will see some bout of profit booking from those levels. For today, I'm not expecting a major correction. Also on lower side, 10,750 to 740 will act as a very strong support band. So today it will be a range bound session between 10,740 to 10,840 levels, but bit of negative, but a little bit of negative biasness. So I would suggest traders to buy put option, 10,800 put option. If there's any 10-15 points pullback in Nifty comes around 10,800, 810 level, that will be a good time where one can buy 10,800 put option with target of 50 to 55 rupees and stop loss of 10 rupees.
Okay, so we have a little contradictory views that's coming in between our technical analysts. Ashish is slightly bullish on the index as far as today's expiry is concerned. Aditya is slightly bearish on the index. That's something that we need to watch out for. But let's talk about stocks. Aditya, which are the stocks that you have lined up for today?
Well, I have a buy call in Infosys. Means if we see Infosys, this stock has seen a sharp correction from 710 level to 640, 635 odd levels. Yesterday, from lower levels, we saw recovery in this counter. Today, again, we are seeing some fresh position getting built up. So I'm expecting that in next series, Infosys can test 675 to 680 levels. So at current levels, one can buy Infosys with stop loss of 645 and target of 675 to 680. Second will be a sell call. A sell call in DLF. Again, this will be a positional sell call. If we see DLF gave a breakout above 180 last week, and after that, stock tested 190, 192 level, but the stock failed to sustain from those levels, and we have seen a good correction from those levels. So overall structure for DLF in short term is looking a little bit bearish. So at any pullback, one can short sell DLF with stop loss of 183. On lower side, 165 to 163 will be the targets.
Okay. So two, or rather one long and one short call from Aditya. But Ashish, what about you? What stocks are you betting on today?
So I think Tata Elxsi is one stock which is coming into radar. It has seen a good price volume action in today's trading session, and with that we are seeing a long build up happening in January series. So I think this could be initiated as a buy. 990 would be my trading stop loss. On upside, 1060 is a target I'm expecting in Tata Elxsi in next 3 to 4 trading sessions. Apart from that, in the PSU banking basket, SBI is showing very strong momentum. Stock is seeing a consistent build up of open interest addition in today's trading session. We are observing almost 5-6% kind of a jump in OI, clearly indicating that there is a good amount of long build up taking place in the stock. 288 would be my trading stop loss. On upside, 307 is a target I'm expecting in SBI. Third long idea would be Bajaj Finance, where we have seen a good consolidation for last 4-5 trading sessions, but in this consolidation we have seen consistent building up of positions. So I think keeping the technical structure in mind and the kind of positioning we have observed, it looks like there is a long accumulation which is taking place. One can initiate a long. 2550 would be my trading stop loss in Bajaj Finance. On upside, 2640, 2650 is a short term target we are expecting in Bajaj Finance.
Okay, so that's a couple of calls that are coming in. Tata Elxsi, UBL, SBI and Bajaj Finance all on the long side for Ashish. Let's get started and talk about individual stocks. IT as a pack is doing well in today's trade. We had a couple of recommendations, both from a guest, at least on the IT space. Aditya spoke about Infosys, but Infosys is something that I want to talk about. Trading at the highest point of the day. The IT index is up close to 1%. The last time I checked, Infosys is now up almost 2.5% on decent rollover. Ashish, Aditya is bullish on Infosys. Yeah. Would you share a similar view on Infosys?
Yes, definitely. I think the stock has seen correction from 720 to almost 640, and there is a consistent build-up of position in last 2-3 trading sessions. Also, if you look at on the weekly chart, daily chart, it is trying to create an inverted head and shoulder formation, which has a bullish implication. So, keeping that in mind, I think today's low, which is around 648, itself will act as an important support zone. Why? Because today we have created an island reversal on a daily chart, which is also a positive sign. And if you look at open interest, almost 3% addition has already taken place. So keeping that in mind, 648 itself should be kept as an trading stop loss. In a very short term, one can expect 680, 685. But looking into the broader pattern, it looks like stock has a potential to even retest the recent highs of around 710, 720 zone.
Okay, that's positive. That's coming in. Aditya, you are bullish on Infosys. Any other IT stock that looks interesting to you at this point of time?
Well, Hexaware will be another counter on which I am expecting a good pullback. Means if we see this counter, it is trading in a band of 305 and 340 levels for the last couple of weeks now. And from lower levels, we are continuously seeing some long position getting built up. So again, it will be a positional trade with a stop loss of 305. One can buy with target of 335 to 340 levels. So if someone is willing to hold for 15 to 20 days, this is a good trade where risk reward ratio is clearly in favor of buyers.
Okay, well, moving on to the next stock, Bata India has resumed its uptrend, and once again it is flirting with lifetime highs. In fact, it hit lifetime highs about a few weeks ago, but again it's hitting back and moving back towards that. And we have seen a good, up move, perhaps even a breakout, if I may call it, with my limited knowledge of technical, analysis. But it's certainly well above its daily moving averages, and it has been making higher top, higher bottoms over the past 3 to 4 months. Ashish, would you initiate fresh longs at these levels?
So Bata has been our buy recommendation for a while. I think since 940, 930 zone we have been recommending this, and as you rightly mentioned, it's a 5-month breakout, because in last time it made its all-time high was in August 2018 at around 1112, 1113. Then it fell down to almost 800, 820 kind of zone, and now this is a fresh breakout which is taking place after consolidating for 5 months. So definitely it's a very strong counter. Keeping 1075 as my trading stop loss, I think Bata looks quite promising. On upside, positionally, I think 1200 would be a target one can expect in Bata in next couple of weeks trading sessions.
Okay, and Aditya, would you agree? Would you also initiate longs on Bata, or some expectation of perhaps consolidation? How are you viewing this one?
Well, yes, definitely means charts of Bata are quite promising, and we are continuously seeing long position getting built up. In today's session itself, stock has added more than 7% shares in open interest. So structure is positive. I am expecting target of 1180 to 1200 levels, the same as Ashish is expecting. So from these levels, again, means one can buy, or in decline towards 1100, one can buy with a stop loss of 1060. On higher side, 1180 to 1200 will be my targets.
Okay, the next pack is basically the cement pack. Again, yesterday, quite a few cement counters were in focus. Remember, they all fell significantly ahead of, they rose ahead of the GST meet and nothing came in and they all fell. But of late, we are seeing a little bit of traction that's seen at least in the frontline counters, the ACCs, the Ambujas. Ultratech is slightly weak in today's trade. But anything in the cement pack that looks attractive, should some of them be accumulated at these levels, is something that we'll ask Aditya. On the cement pack, do you like anything? Are you recommending any of the cement stocks to your clients?
Well, means we are not recommending to buy any of the cement counter as of now. Means if we see more or less cement stocks are trading in a range, and right now most of the counters are trading in the middle of the range. In fact, if there is a 15-20 points pullback in ACC, it's a good stock to short sell if it comes in the zone of 1490, 1495 levels. One can short sell ACC with a stop loss of 1520 and target of 1440 to 1420 levels. Similarly, we see Ambuja Cement also. Yesterday's stock has seen a good short covering move, but again from higher levels today we are seeing some fresh short position getting built up in Ambuja also. So with a stop loss of 225, one can short sell Ambuja with target of 210 to 205. So at current levels, means we are not recommending in any of the cement counters to initiate long positions.
What about you, Ashish? Cement, anything that you like?
So not really, because Darshan, what is happening, there is a lot of news flow which is taking place in the stock, but that is not getting reflected into the prices. Only thing what one can say is that they are into a consolidation phase, so definitely the structures are not weak, because already we have seen sharp losses in last couple of many months in these stocks. So definitely if something has to happen, it has to happen on the positive side, but when it will happen is a question we are still trying to figure it out. Because if you look at Ambuja Cement, almost 13-14% open interest addition in a very short term time frame, but that is not getting reflected into the price action. So what we are waiting as a technical analysis, around 226 is an important resistance point for Ambuja Cement. Once this stock gets crossed over above this 226, then I think strong structural move towards 245, 250 could not be ruled out. At the same time, you are seeing a lot of important support coming around 210. So 210 to 226 is a trading band. You can play either buy on dip kind of strategy, or once you reaches around 226, you should short it. But once it crosses 226, then I think the strong momentum on upside will start taking place in these names.
Okay. Well, moving on to the next one, we have PVR on our list, and the reason why we've taken it is because of high rollovers. Of course, PVR has also been the news, as has the entire industry, because of the cut in GST rates and a whole lot of other developments happening. Now, PVR today is not moving too much, but there certainly is a lot of traction. And look at the rollovers number. That is why we are talking about that. It's at 89% right now. What we've also seen is a considerable rise and a steady rise, that too, from the months of October, November and December for PVR, and it is only in the last 4 or 5 sessions that we may have seen a little bit of I would say range bound movement for PVR. So Ashish, coming back to you, what would you do with this one? Is this just a little bit of a pause before we see that resumption in up move, or would you see more strength from here?
I think it's going to be positive only, because if you look at, there has been a steady rise in this stock, and after a strong up move in recent times, there is some consolidation which is taking place. To me, I think the stock has formed a strong base around 1500 1480 zone. It's just a pause, and eventually I think stock has a potential to cross its recent highs of 1600, and once that happen, even a fresh all-time high could not be ruled out, which is around above 1680 1700 zone. So I am quite positive on PVR. I would like to initiate a long and use any dip towards 1510 1520 to average my long positions with a stop below 1480.
Aditya, what about you? Are you also of the same opinion on PVR?
Well, yes, means my view is also positive on the counter. Means if we see PVR stock has seen a steady rally in last couple of weeks, and last 3-4 days is only a small consolidation which we are seeing. We are not seeing any short position getting built up in the counter. In fact, every decline is being bought into. So at current levels, means I will like to initiate long positions. On higher side, 1620 to 1630 will be the target which I'm expecting. On lower side, it means if stocks breaks 1510, then we can see a minor correction from those levels. But overall, structure is positive, and at current levels also one can initiate long positions.
Okay, the other counter which is again seeing high rollovers this time around is Syndicate Bank. Pull up Syndicate Bank and let's see what exactly it's doing in today's trade. So the rollovers at almost 84%. It's trading flat in trade. The open interest build up also not the highest. Ashish, anything on Syndicate Bank, and any view on the private and on the PSU sector, banking sector at this point of time?
So we had a buy call on SBI, which is a market leader in the PSU banking basket, but definitely in terms of price action, I think a Syndicate Bank has a potential to see at least 5 to 6% kind of uptick from current levels. So I think it could be initiated definitely as a buy idea, but yes, with a little risk element. So keeping 37 as my trading stop loss, I'm expecting stock to cross 40.50 kind of levels in next 1 or 2 trading sessions.
Okay, and perhaps the final stock on our radar, at least from our side, is Ujjivan Financial, and again a stock which has been quite stellar over the previous few weeks, and it continues to trend higher, 1.3% higher today. Rollovers at around 52%, but there's increase in the December OI and of course January OI naturally, because it is the expiry week. And well, the strength is there for you to see. The question really is, can we initiate fresh longs at this point in time? Aditya, would the risk reward be favorable if you were to go ahead and buy Ujjivan Financial even at these levels?
Well, if we see Ujjivan, in the last 2 weeks, stock has seen a rally of almost 20 to 25% levels. And on the higher side now, 285, 286 is an immediate resistance zone. So I will wait for some time. If a stock comes in the zone of 270, that's a good level where one can enter into long position with first target of 285. If 285 is broken and stock sustains above that, then 300 to 305 will be the next target. On lower side, my stop loss will be 260. So overall structure is bullish, but I will wait for some decline. I will buy around 270. Target of 285 to 300 levels.
Aditya, recommend one stock for the next series. If someone has to buy one stock, what would that stock be? If the position can be lower, but you believe that this stock could, outperform, it could be on the long side or the short side, but we need one stock.
Well, NBCC is one stock in which we have seen a decent correction, and now we are seeing some long position getting built up. So overall, if we see NBCC from these levels, risk reward ratio is clearly in favor of buyer. With a stop loss of 52, one can take a positional trade. On higher side, 62 to 65 will be the target, which I'm expecting that NBCC can test in next series. So with a risk of 3 to 3.5 rupees, one can easily get 8 to 9 rupees in this company.
Same question. Which stock, if someone had to play for the Jan series, name that one stock?
So I'll tell two stocks. Okay. So one is, Bajaj Finance, which looks very promising to me. I think the stock has a potential to do at least 2650, 2700 kind of levels in a very, very short term. Keep 25 for 50 as we have recommended as a trading stop loss. Apart from that, United Breweries Limited is something we are liking a lot. Maybe, you can trade it for next 1 week, and if you want to carry it as a trade for next 2-3 months also, I think this is one stock which we are positionally quite positive. This stock, I think 1300 would be my positional stop loss, 1450 would be my short-term target. But if someone is holding it for next 2-3 months time frame, then I think even 1550 is something I'm expecting in United Breweries Limited.
What are you spotting in United Breweries that makes you bullish? So what's the rationale for United Breweries?
So there are multiple reasons. So if you look at, first of all, the technical reasons, stock has formed a major inverted head and shoulder formation in the last couple of few months, and the breakout had taken place at around 1300. After that, it moved to almost 1410, and then there was some knee-jerk reaction. We tested the neckline and again seeing a good recovery. So now 1300 has become a base for the stock. Now, if we follow this inverted head and shoulder projection, then I think that projection comes because 1450 was your the length of the 1450 to almost 1150 was the length of the pattern. So keeping that in mind, 1750, 1800 comes as my positional target. Now, if you look at from a very long-term perspective, since 2012 to 2017-18, the stock is broadly into a consolidation phase, and after this consolidation, we have given a breakout on a weekly chart above this inverted head and shoulder. So that gives a confirmation that this long-term consolidation is over, and now you are entering into a new phase of bull territory in this stock.
Okay.
All right. Well, if we can take up just one more stock, and that's Reliance Industries. I believe we also have a query on Reliance Industries, and it's tested the 200 daily moving average over the past 2 months at least twice. And but it continues to trade above that. But there has also been a little bit of consolidation around the 1100 mark. Aditya, your view here, we also have a query on this one. What would you advise the viewer to do in the short term with respect to Reliance Industries?
Well, if we see Reliance Industries and a weekly chart, 1060, 1050 was a very strong trend line support area, and from those levels only we have seen a good recovery in yesterday's session. But yes, on higher side, not much upside is there in this counter. 1160, 1165 is a strong resistance band. So from these levels, we can see some 40 to 42 rupees upside in this counter. But yes, I would advise if a stock comes in the zone of 1160, 1165, that is a good level to book profit in long positions. If someone wants to initiate long position at current level, then with a stock, very strict stock loss of 1098, one can buy at current levels, but on higher side 1160-65 is the level where I would advise to book profit in longs.
Okay, guys. Well, on that note, I'm going to take this moment to thank both our experts, Ashish as well as Aditya, for taking us through their views as well as solving some of our viewer queries. This is going to be the last expiry of this trading year, so we'll have to wait and watch how this pans out eventually in 2019. But with that, it's a wrap in this edition of the F&O Show. But for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg.